Hello and welcome to the module on the drawing of plans and blueprints of buildings. Now we are going to look at what we actually mean by the term building plans. Building plans are sketches of building structures that are designed by architects and craftsmen. They are drawn to show the exact nature of buildings. Building plans are usually drawn on a paper with a blue background. Hence, they can be referred to as blueprints. Now let's look at some of the common symbols that can be used in plans of buildings. The following represents the common symbols used in blueprints of buildings. And now that will bring us to looking at the building components. Buildings are basically constructed to serve a range of purposes. These include providing shelter and security to the inhabitants of the buildings. The building consists of the following basic components. 1. Foundation. 2. Damp-proof course. 3. Floors. 4. Walls. 5. Doors. 6. Windows. And 7. Roofs. Now let's take a look at each of these components in detail. First, foundation. The foundation can be defined as the expanded base of a wall or column that supports all imposed loads. It is basically constructed with concrete or masonry materials such as rocks, stones, or bricks. What are the functions of foundations in a building? 1. It receives and supports the load, that is the weight of the building, and then transmits it to the solid parts of the ground. 2. It ensures that the weight of the building is evenly distributed over the surface area of the foundation to avoid unequal settlement. And this brings us to the different types of foundations that can be used in building construction. There are 5 major types of foundations. These are strip foundation, raft foundation, pad foundation, and pile foundation. And let's look at each of them in detail. First, the strip foundation. This is a continuous strip of concrete under walls. It carries a uniformly distributed load. It is the most common type of foundation in Nigeria. Raft foundation. This is a continuous base of reinforced concrete under the whole building. It is used where the bearing capacity of the soil is very low. For example, clay soil, marshy soil, or waterlogged areas. Pad foundation. This is an isolated concrete base under the columns. The area of the foundation depends on the load it is going to carry. Pile foundation. This is a type of foundation used to transmit loads through soft soils, streams, or rivers. It is used for bridge construction. Step foundation. This is a straight foundation constructed on a slopy ground. And now we look at the next type of building component, which is the damp-proof cores, otherwise known as DPC. The damp-proof cores is an unbroken layer of impermeable materials such as asphalt or waterproof cement on a foundation wall. And when we say impermeable, we mean materials that do not allow water to pass through it. They are placed to prevent moisture from rising into the walls. Damp-proof cores helps to prevent the blistering of plasters and bulging of plasters in a building. Some of the damp-proof core materials include cement mortar, concrete mortar, asphalt, and polythene sheet. And now we move on to look at floors as a type of building component. Floors are horizontal components of buildings that support all imposed loads. They normally satisfy a range of functional requirements depending on their location. There are two categories of floors in a building. First, the ground floor and the upper floor. The ground floor is constructed on the ground level with concrete slabs or timber. The upper floor can also be constructed with timber or reinforced concrete. Functions of floors. The main function of floors in a building is to withstand imposed live and dead loads in the building. It also helps to prevent vegetation growth and damp penetration into the building. Now let's look at the types of floors. There are basically two types of floors in buildings. These are solid floors and suspended floors. Solid floors are usually located on the ground or upper floors. They can be constructed with concrete slabs with hard core and sometimes with wire mesh underneath. And when we say hard core, we mean the stones that are used for constructing floors. Suspended floors are also known as hollow floors. They consist of timber floorboards, that is the planks which are supported by wooden joists which are in turn framed into the walls. And that's how we come to the end of the lesson on this module, which is the first for building construction. And after this, in the next module, we're going to take the next examples of building components. Do hope you have enjoyed the lesson. Have a nice day.